Hi people, it's me Anja. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new recent reads video. The first book on this list is called 1,000 Questions. This book is a middle grade contemporary and it follows two girls during a summer of change and family upheaval. I think that's how you say that word. Anyway, this story was so good. I ended up rating it 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed the dual perspectives. I liked the friendship that formed between the two girls. I love that the story really implemented the idea that we're more alike than we realize, because I feel like sometimes, especially unintentionally at a young age, I feel like we almost alienate ourselves from foreigners, even when at the end of the day, technically we're all foreigners to other people. And if we're all foreigners, then technically nobody is. You know what I mean? So anyway, the story was so good, and it's a book that I wish I had read when I was younger, you know? So anyway, there's lots of wind noise right now, so I apologize if you can hear that. But basically, this book was really good. And yes, I gave it 3.5 stars, but a 3.5 star rating is not a bad rating, it's still a good rating. So I would still recommend this book. The next book is called One Way or Another. This follows Paige, and when she's stuck between making two decisions, fate steps in and her life takes two directions. So this is a very unique YA contemporary. It's a YA romantic contemporary, and this book honestly reminded me of 10 Blind Dates. So I think that if you enjoyed that book, you would enjoy this book. This story was so good. Paige is a very realistic character. I enjoyed the two plots. I liked how they weaved well together. I thought it was very interesting that we could see where things could have ended up if she had made decision A over decision B and vice versa. That's very interesting to me. And it was so cool. And I really liked Paige's anxiety representation. I think that's super important, because so many people can relate to Paige in that way. And the story was so good, and I ended up rating it 3.5 stars. And the reason why that it reminds me of 10 Blind Dates is because it's also set during the holidays. So if you're looking for a nice, fluffy, cute, Christmassy, romantic contemporary YA book, I'd recommend this one. The next book is called Blazewrath. This book is a YA fantasy contemporary, and it is so good. I ended up rating it 4 stars. It follows Lana, who's living her dream on the Puerto Rican team, and she's competing in the Blazewrath games. Obviously, that's what the title is. So if you don't know what Blazewrath is, it's basically the World Cup, but with the dragons. So clearly superior. This book was so good. I enjoyed the fast-paced, action-packed plot. Lana's determination and resilience is so wonderful and empowering. The story is so good. I enjoyed the world building. I enjoyed the setting. I enjoyed the plot. I enjoyed the characters. This book is so good. There should be more dragon fantasies, and the story is so good. I actually don't know if it's a standalone or if it's a series, but if there are more books in this series, then I will gladly read them. Lana is such a wonderful character. The plot, the world building, the setting, the dragons, everything about the story is so good, and that's why I rated it 4 stars. The next book on this list is called The Crooked Sixpence, written by Jennifer Bell. This is a middle grade fantasy story, and it follows Ivy Sparrow, and after her grandmother is rushed to the hospital, weird things start happening to her, and she is transported to a magical world. I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. This book truly implemented to me why I really enjoy portal fantasies. I love portal fantasies so much, because it truly it features one of my favorite tropes, which is fish out of water. I like being introduced to the magical world at the same time as the main character, instead of the world already being familiar to the main character. You know, it just makes it more real, and it just makes me believe in it more, and makes me more interested in wanting to be there. You know what I mean? So anyway, Ivy is such a wonderful character. The world building in the story was so good. I loved it. The illustrations in the story were also wonderful and added to the whimsical vibe that I got from this story. The action-packed, fast-paced plot was also so wonderful. I never saw any of the plot twists coming, and they were so well done. This story is so well written, so I'm very excited to continue this series since this is the first book in a trilogy, so I'll be reading the rest of this trilogy. So yes, this story was so good, and I rated it 4 stars. The next book on this list is called Recommended for You. This is a YA romantic contemporary, and it follows Shoshana, and her story kicks off when she and her new co-worker are rivals because they were both competing for this new employee bonus. I enjoyed this book. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed Shoshana's personality. I definitely see the comparison between her and Laura Jean. I like the Jewish representation. The only thing that I really didn't like about this book is that I felt like their romance felt too insta-lovey because they only got together in the last 10% of the story. And this book is already very short because it takes place over like a week, you know? So I feel like they discovered that they liked each other in a very short amount of time. And even though I saw them coming, because like, you know, that's how a romantic contemporary works, but like I just felt like they got together way too fast. But you know, that's just how it is, I guess. So anyway, I would recommend this book to you if you enjoy romantic contemporaries, and if you don't mind insta-love, and if you just like the whole like book selling setting, because I did also enjoy that. Their romance reminded me a little bit of the romance in Let's Talk About Love, just because of their setting. You know what I mean? So anyway, this book was solid, it was good, and I gave it 3 stars. The last book on this list is called Closer to Nowhere, written by Ellen Hopkins. There's a trigger warning on this book for child abuse. This follows 2 characters, Hannah and Cal, and how they discover that they are more alike than they realize, and they both have a family that they want to save. This book reminds me of A List of Cages, but also Fall from the Tree, except middle grade. This story was good and solid. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I like the fast-paced, action-packed plot. Hannah and Cal were both realistic characters, and I really liked the growth of their friendship. It was solid, it was well done. The story was good. I wish that I had been warned about the trigger warning that I mentioned earlier prior to reading this book, because I just personally prefer being warned about that before going into it. So again, for you, there's a trigger warning for child abuse. I know I just said that at the beginning of this review, but I really want readers to be aware of that before they read this book, so that they're not surprised when they read it the way that I was. So anyway, the story was solid, it was good. I thought that it was just realistic and well done, so I gave it 3.5 stars. So in conclusion, the best books on this list were definitely Blazewrath games and The Uncommoners, The Crooked Sixpence. That one, those 2 books were so wonderful. I'm so excited to read the rest of the Uncommoners trilogy and see what else the author of Blazewrath games has to offer. The lowest book on this list was Recommended for You. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of these books. Let me know what you think. Comment down below why you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Bye!